What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be looking at the top 10 worst large cities in Florida for 2022. So we're going to grab the 100 largest cities in Florida. Today we're going to learn which are the 10 worst large cities in Florida for 2022. We looked at crime rates, cost of housing, and other factors like traffic, congestion to figure out of the 100 largest cities in Florida, which ones are the absolute worst. So if you live in a small town, don't expect it to be on the list. This list will be completely different from our lists in the past, being that we're not going to include small towns. We're looking at big cities here. Perhaps you've been looking to move to Florida and the city you're considering moving to is on the list. If it is, you need to pay careful attention because there's a reason they ended up on my list. Number 1 is Lake Worth, Florida. With almost 40,000 people, it is the 99th largest city in Florida, but it is the number 1 worst city in the entire state. And I didn't have to think about that too hard. There are some serious problems with Lake Worth, and while the adjacent communities like Boca Raton and Palm Beach and all these nice areas along the southeast coast of Florida are amazing places, once you enter the city limits of Lake Worth, you are in a completely different world where crime and homelessness, gang violence, and some of the most complex problems you're going to find any city in the entire state of Florida having are on display for you to see. Don't let the beautiful historic district and its location, overall great general location, fool you. It's a bad place to be. Number 2 is Titusville. Where do we even start to talk about the problems that this city has? From drug addiction to crime to lack of investment, lack of opportunities. There is hope that in the future tech jobs will come back to this area and give this area the revival it needs. However, that's clearly not the solution for everybody. One of the few cities in Florida that doesn't have easy access to the water even though it's along the coast. The comments that we get from Titusville, Florida show the frustration and anger that these people have in their heart. It is the 82nd largest city in Florida, and about 47,000 people call this miserable place home. This place is a relic of what it once was, and the people that are still here have a hard time accepting that their city is one of the worst places in the entire state of Florida to live. But clearly, there's problems. Number 3 is University, located right outside of Tampa. It is the 80th largest city in the state of Florida. 48,000 people live here happily in the hood. I didn't know University was actually its own census designated place, but according to the statistical analysis that I did, it is. Just outside of Tampa on the north side, this community made national attention when they decided to burn down half their own town, breaking into the liquor store and pawn shop, taking every gold Cuban link chain, pair of Jordans and donuts, anything that was on the store shelves, and running off with it to their little duplex in the hood. If I invested everything I had to open up a store in your neighborhood and you ran off with my Jordans and Cuban link chains, I would not be opening that business up again. It's on the list. Number 4 is North Fort Myers, the nofo, just north of Fort Myers, unfortunately close to Cape Coral. This city has so many problems. Well, there's not enough time in the world to tell you, from a massive addiction problem. When a bad batch comes through, you'll see the people slumped over on the roads. Embarrassing that this is happening in Lee County, Florida. But the problems of North Fort Myers go beyond their addiction and poverty. Despite being in a great location right outside of Fort Myers, they struggle with poverty, crime, and more elaborate types of scandals. If you see a condo and it is for sale in North Fort Myers and it is about a third of what it should be worth, trust me, there's a reason why it's worth less. you may regret your purchase seriously. I want this place to revive, but it's got a long way to go. Number 5 is Fort Pierce, Florida. It is the 84th largest city in Florida, where 46,000 people live happily in the hood. And even though your mama told you that gangbanging wasn't going to get you anywhere, Fort Pierce, it got you onto this list. While people are moving to Florida, they sure as crap aren't moving to Fort Pierce. You can get an incredible deal on a house just outside of Fort Pierce. And the only problem with this property will be that it's outside of Fort Pierce. Now, there are good things in sight. The city recently remodeled their hood, putting new driveways and pavers and palm trees right in the heart of the hood. But there's still a long way to go for Fort Pierce. It has a beautiful Yeti with some of the best fishing in Florida and about 2 blocks by the beach that are not gangbanging, but the vast majority of the city is in bad shape. Moving on to number 6, North Miami. If we could find a city that illustrated everything that's wrong with living in South Florida, North Miami would be the poster child with gold teeth and dreads. Waiting in traffic, living with a roommate to be able to afford the high rents, and using a fake credit card to rip you off. Everything you can think about being wrong with South Florida, I'm telling you, this is it. The worst congestion in the entire state of Florida. The bottleneck of traffic that unfolds here every single afternoon is enough to make a sane person lose their mind. But wait, there's more. If you move to North Miami now, you will soon be the victim of a crime because they're a very high crime rate area. If you move to a condo in North Miami, you better be working from home and like your home a whole lot because you're going to be seeing it often. Moving on to number 7, West Palm Beach. West Palm Beach is one of the largest cities in Florida, where 119,000 people are straight up gangbanging, dog. Despite being the 21st largest city in Florida, it is on our list as being one of the most miserable and worst places you can end up in the entire state. It's like a miniature Baltimore when it comes to crime. In some parts of West Palm Beach, there's a saying in Florida that's, "Don't let the palm trees fool you." Well, look at that palm tree right there. It's got its poker face on right now. If you take your eyes off the palm trees for 1 second, a giant branch will fall off of one and a bunch of other small palm trees will come to take your wallet. While it's a great place to vacation, living in West Palm Beach has its own set of complications from an ever-rising cost of living, except for incomes that never rise. Moving on to number 8, St. Petersburg, Florida. While the city does have great districts and it offers a lot of great things, the cost of living there, the high crime rate, and the people that are just straight up keeping it too real equates to a place that offers a lot of great things, but also offers other stuff in that package. I enjoy going to St. Petersburg. Again, it's a great travel destination, but it's not really a place you want to live. Most people moving to Florida are going to want to move to a newer suburban area. Being in the center of an urban area, it's not able to really grow like other places. And Pinellas County has its fair share of problems, which some of the locals refuse to acknowledge. Crime and the criminal lifestyle of so many people here make the life of those who want to live a normal beachside life increasingly difficult. And like I said, Pinellas County has so many problems. Moving on to number 9, Tallahassee, the state capital. Why wouldn't it be a great place to live? It's almost like living in Alabama, and while real estate prices in Florida keep increasing, Tallahassee has Alabama prices, even though it's in Florida, and there's certainly a reason. Being a college town, kids come here to party. There's a constant revolution of people in and out, which means that real estate isn't really stable. Sometimes of the year there's demand for it, other times of the year there's a lot of vacancy, and that doesn't contribute to a place where you want to live full time. Most people are here to party, live for short term. It means if you're trying to live here for the long run, you're going to have to deal with people that are just there for the short term. People can be rude, they can be nasty. Crime is very high. There's been years where the crime rate in Tallahassee has been among the worst in the entire state of Florida. 200,000 people call Tallahassee home, making it the 9th largest city in the entire state. Nonetheless, it still made our list because it's not a place you want to move to. Number 10 is Ocala, Florida. Horse country. However, living within the city limits of Ocala isn't exactly like living in the Ocala metropolitan area. While this area has seen an incredible amount of growth, living within the inner city neighborhoods of Ocala is not the dream of Florida you're thinking about. The city does have affordability. In fact, we were able to find rents in Ocala for under $1,000 when you couldn't find it anywhere else in the state of Florida. There's likely a reason for this affordability, and this constant available surplus of real estate is likely an indicator that it's not a thrilling place to be. It is the 60th largest city in Florida, and 62,000 people live within Ocala city limits. And there it is. Those are the top 10 worst large cities in Florida. What are your thoughts and opinions?